All right, let's get started. Uh, so you can see I'm in the shop today again, like I mentioned yesterday. We're doing a demonstration. Um, you're not going to see all of it, right? But I'll show you different parts, and I can also take this time to show you a little bit around the shop, since you can kind of see a lot of it in the background. Um, you may notice too that we have a sound system in here, right? The other shops don't have that, not like ours. So that's another perk. Right, we got the smallest shop, but it's also the newest and newest equipment. And like I said, it's got Bluetooth. So, or if I got my watch, I can control it from my watch. So I like to have fun stuff like that. Try to stay in the frame. Um, so anyway, like I said yesterday, we're gonna bend some metal today. So we want to make one of those firewood racks. So I came into the shop earlier and I made a jig right here, and I made some test bends, and I decided on how I wanted to do it. So then I welded up the jig. I kind of set my area up. I started cutting metal over there at the bandsaw that's back there. Um, and I guess while I'm here, I can show you a little bit around the shop. I'll be out of the frame, but I can show you what I'm talking about here a little closer. So there's the jig I made. Right, it's just some posts on a piece of plate that I clamped down so that I can bend the metal the same way every time. Right, so then over here, I made a little setup with the torch so I can turn it on and put the metal inside of there so that it can be heating up while I'm working on the other pieces over here. So trying to do a little mass production line so that I can do this quickly, right? Because I got to bend a lot of pieces. So you'll see the rest of the shop over here. I got the bandsaw there where I was cutting the metal. Right, there's a project that's unfinished back there, big barbecue pit, and you can see the other welding booths, the other work table setups with all the oxy-acetylene setups with them, and then a bunch of boxes full of brand new welding gear, waiting for you guys to come and use it. And then here's where I was set up the other day to do the demonstration, and all in the other welding booths. So pretty small shop, right? That's all of it right there. You just got the whole tour. Well, there's an equipment room over here, and there's a couple of more pieces of equipment back in that little corner. Our combustible locker, another cutting area. A locker room is right there next to that gray panel, and the women's locker room right next to our shop press right here. Women's locker room right there. My office right there. Okay, and then right behind me, there's just a window and another toolbox. So not a whole lot to it, but it's enough for, that's all we got to work with. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so like I said, I'll show you guys some metal bending here real quick, and I'll just get going. And you're not gonna see the whole project, right? But you'll see the startings of it. Like I said, I already came and set up most of the equipment, right? I made the jig, I tried it out, I cut a bunch of pieces and marked them already. Luckily, I remembered my plans because I forgot my little drawing that I made yesterday when I was deciding how to do all this. So kind of winging some of it, but it's all right. This is just a fireplace rack. It's not anything structural or anything that's safety related, so it's all right, right? As long as it looks neat and it's for the most part all the same, it's gonna look fine and do its job. So I'm not too worried about it. So like I said, I cut all the pieces. These are all the cross members. I still need to cut the legs. They're longer, right? These are just the short pieces that the wood is gonna sit inside of right here, and there'll be a bunch of these all along the rack, and the wood will sit this way for the fireplace. So I'll heat it up. I'll bring it over here to to my jig. I'll use a cheater bar to help put a little more force on it, and so I don't have to touch the hot part. And hopefully the camera doesn't shake too much while I'm doing all that. Right? You can still see. I'll zoom in here after I do the whole process once, so you can see everything happening at the same time. You know, a little closer up. The other thing that I did that made it a little harder was, if you can see that, I'll just bring it to the camera. I'm bending these on the corners, right? So there's not going to be a flat surface for the wood to sit on. It's going to sit on the point of that square rod. Looks a little nicer, and I think it'll make it last a little longer because the water won't sit there. If it were to get wet, or the ashes, they're going to want to fall off to the sides. So we'll see. If you can see from the profile view, that may be a better look at how I'm doing them like this. So again, this is just a test piece with something some piece I found in the shop, but it was about the right size, so I tried it out. Okay, so let's bend a few of them with the torch. You can see I made a little stand here with a torch, so that I don't have to hold it. Right, it was just scrap stuff that I had in the shop, and I tacked other pieces to it, and it worked out. Right? So same with this. This was just scrap stuff that I saw here, because we save a lot of our scrap for things exactly for this purpose, right? So you can just grab something real quick you need to set up, to make a jig or whatever, and do what you have to do. So let me kind of clean up. It might take a minute, right? I saw there was a piece of plastic there. I said, you know what, that's got to go. My cutting glasses. There's a file here that I was using, but it's got this rubber handle, so I need to move that away a little bit, just in case. Everything else here I need, right? This is trash. Probably go. Trash can, mist. I got my marking, my scribe to mark with, my tape measure. Right, got my striker. I am gonna get a welding glove, just in case. Because these pieces are getting pretty hot, and I've been cooling them off in between. But what I'm gonna do, the plan is, right, and part of your take a minute is also to make sure you know what you're doing, right? Do I know what I'm doing? The plan is to bend all of one side, all of them on this side, right? I'll do one side, right, because it's two bends. I'll sit them down, let them cool. Then I'll heat the other side up so that the other side I'm gonna grab is cooler. Maybe I may hit it with some water, but I'm gonna do all one side, so I only have one hot side at a time. That's the plan. We'll see how it works out. My plan seems to change all the time. Once I do it on paper, and then I get here and I say, oh wait, that's not gonna work, or this is a better way. So we'll do it like that. Again, this is where I'm gonna sit it. Probably the first one I'll just hold in my hand, and then I'll leave the next one heating up in that little stand that I have there. So let's get a little closer view. I also had to make a tripod this morning because I forgot mine at the house. So let's try that right there. Okay, so let's make sure everything's working correctly. I think it is. Let's do this. And if you guys have any questions, feel free, or comment. You can say it out loud, or I won't see it till later if you put it in the chat. Also, if I'm on fire or something, please say something. The chat won't help me at that point. I need you to say something. Okay, so again, my head's cut off, but I want you to see just what I'm doing right here. Maybe I can zoom in and read farther, just to get a better view. All right, and bear with me. This is not Channel 5, right, in a high-end production. This is working with what I got. So the torch is already set up. I already did that before. um, we started class. So I'm just gonna light it, right? I do the acetylene first. I did all the leak checks and everything, by the way. Acetylene. All right. I'm just gonna make a neutral flame or slightly carburizing, and then we'll heat up our metal. Probably hold this one right here, but remember I marked these already with the scribe so that I can see still when I'm heating it up. We burn all the soot off so I can see the marks. Okay, where's my 3-inch mark? Should be here somewhere. Okay, there it is. So I'm just gonna hold it still. I don't want to hold it too close because it'll damage start to melt the metal. And then I'm going to rotate it to get it a good orange color. Just keep in mind when you're heating up a flat surface or even when you're starting your cut, the flames spread out, right? So the flames are going to be shooting back towards my hand, so I got to make sure I'm not too close. The flames are coming out to about right here. You can't see that. Okay. So that's getting pretty close. I could probably bend it right there. So what I'll do is I'll put it in the holder. And I'll leave it heating up and I'll move the camera. And that's a pretty decent shot there. Of the metal and the color that you want it. So let's move back over here to the bending device there, and let's hit bend. Okay, so it should be pretty warm. Just gonna put another rod in there to start heating up. While I bend this one. Okay. So I already have it marked here. If I put it right on the edge, it'll be 3 inches. Make sure it points up. And you kind of need to work a little faster because it's cooling down this whole time. And bend it first. And if you take too long, that's alright. Just heat it up again. Yeah, I took too long, so it's hard again. Keep trying to yeah, I'll heat it up some more. It's pretty hot, so it shouldn't take long to reheat. The hotter you get it, the easier it will be to bend, but it also makes a little more damage. So you want to try to heat the minimal amount. And you got to keep in mind too, you're weakening the metal a little bit, right? So that's pretty warm. To put it lightly. So let's get in here directly, right where I want it. See, I'm bending it just with my fingers pretty much. It moved on me a little bit, so I'm going to correct it. And I have a stop here, so I'm going to go for this stop. Use my cheetah bar. And there, that should be it. Hopefully you guys see that pretty well. I do want to hold it for a second because it will spring back if I don't hold it long enough. Kind of went back on a little bit, but we'll fix those later. So I got one now. Right, there's my bin. So I'm going to put it aside. The other one's almost ready. I'm going to get another one in the holder while I'm still doing this one. is pretty warm. See that? So let's get this one ready to go. And there we go. See, pretty easy. Now we're going to go all the way back in. Make sure I have the right angle. It's flat on the table. Okay, that don't look like a good one there. You get that, it's probably pretty blurry. Okay, so we'll zoom out. So you can kind of see the whole process going at one time. And this has got to go kind of quick, right? Because you got the torch on, things are getting hot. You can't really wait around too long. Let me do this one back here. Put another one in to be ready for when I walk away. That way when I walk away, the other one will continue to heat up. Okay, that's all right. I'm putting them side by side so I can kind of double check myself that I'm doing them right, that they're coming out the same. For the most part, I think we're good, right? So you can see those. So this one's heating up. This one's going. And this is probably the last one I do because, as you can see, this is going to be a pretty long process. I'm not going to make you watch all of it unless you want to, but I'll end the demonstration part of it in just a minute. So there's one half of our piece that's going to look like this. They're different sizes, so you can say, hey, that one's too long. But they're pretty close. That one was just the test piece. So that's where we're at. So far is what I've got in this short amount of time. got 4 of these half done. Right? I gotta do the other side. I'll let it cool off. Turn the torch off. Okay, so let's zoom back over here maybe. There we go. Okay, so we're kind of finished with that, but that was just a quick demonstration on how we can use the torch in a different way, right? Other than just cutting, right? We also need to heat with it. Um, and if we saw there, I'm doing it with the cutting attachment and the cutting tip, right? So you don't have to use the rosebud, that other tip. In fact, I'll pull it out since we're here. Show you what I'm talking about. It's where it's supposed to be. And it's not. So here it is. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. All right. This is the heating attachment that would go on the heavy duty torch. Actually, this is the medium duty torch. But that's what it looks like, right? And it's just to heat up stuff. But like I said, for smaller applications like this, the cutting attachment is just fine. And in fact, I feel like it goes a little quicker. But it does damage the metal a little bit more, and it's not as even of a heat. So if you're worried about something like that, then you may want to go with the heating attachment. If you're worried about stressing the metal, right, or making it brittle from heating it up rapidly and cooling it down too fast, you got to think about stuff like that. So, but that can't happen. You heat metal up very quickly and then cool it down very quickly. It's gonna weaken it. So, but like I said, this is not structural. This is not. No one's gonna be standing on top of this. It's not safety related at all. So it's fine, right? It works. It works for what we're doing. So that's where we'll stop today. I'll continue to record as I go along, so you guys will get to see the whole process, right? But obviously, you can't stay with me the entire day or however long it takes me. Hopefully, I'll be done in another couple of hours. I'll make 2 of these. I'm making 2 identical ones. Next period, which are the welding 2 guys, will probably watch me weld it up, right? You can see our big machine back here ready to go just for this. And that's kind of where we'll go. But they're a little farther along than you guys, so that's why I saved that for them. But you will watch me do a few more things next week. I will probably be in here again another day, and we'll do something else in here. You watch me do something else, and I just wanted to change it up and make it so it's not worksheets and YouTube every day, right? So let's stop this. Okay.